Okay, children. Next, we are going to study about another very important personality in European history as well as world history. You are just learning about him in very minimal way. We will learn about him more detail in 10th standard, right? So it is Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte. I'll tell you the brief story about him, and then we'll come to the points what is discussed in the text. Napoleon Bonaparte was a friend of Maximilien Robespierre, the ruler of Jacobins, and he was a captain in a local army unit during the time of Jacobins, or even before. During the time of Jacobins, when there was a small riot in the town, he managed to suppress it or get it under control. And when Maximilian Robespierre came to hear about it, he called him to Paris, just capital, and he made him a general there. And when there was riots in Paris, he helped Robespierre to get it under control. So he was becoming more and more powerful and popular, especially with Jacobins. Then, when Jacobin rule ended, Director rule came in. He fought different wars for France, or he led them. The most important one was he won a war with Italy, um, in Italy, and then he fought in Romania and in Turkey as well. One was against the interest of Britain, another was interest of Austria. So these different wars and success in those wars made him really popular. He was a popular general by the time the dictatorship was ruling France. And by 1803, the directory rule was in chaos. We have seen that they were fighting each other. There was big political instability, and Napoleon was fighting a war in Turkey against the interest of the Britain, because Britain was the arch enemy of France at the time. So he was fighting a war for France in Turkey. That's when there was a big political instability. He was a very wise and cunning man. He realized that the political situation in France is suitable for a coup. A coup is overthrowing the government, let's say. So he went back, leaving the army in the battlefield. He went back to Paris. He toppled the directory rule and made a council and became the first councillor of France. In 1804, he became the Emperor of France. So, this is just for your information, all this additional information I've said. For you to know is that 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte became the king of, means the Emperor of France, taking advantage of the political instability in France. That's the first point we have to learn. Political instability during the director rule in France, 1804. Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself as Emperor of France. Now, what he did, his vision was big. He didn't just want to rule a small country like France. He wanted to rule the whole of Europe. So he fought many wars and conquered neighboring countries, neighboring European countries, and he created a kingdom for himself. He made a big France. Borders of France were extended. He was fighting for European dominance, or probably conquering whole of Europe and bringing it under one rule. That was his ambition. And he himself took or saw his role as a liberator of Europe from the dynastic rules. There were all dynasties ruling different small countries of Europe, and he wanted to liberate people from these dynasties and feudalism. And he put forth or put forward an idea of modernized nation. He didn't believe in small countries laying around and different rules, different weight and measures, different currencies, different administration. He saw all this as a um, obstacle to go forward to modernize the country. So he wanted to conquer all the people, all of Europe, and bring it under one rule and unify everything. So the trade and economic development will be faster. It will be easy to rule. Everybody will be treated equal, etc. So saw himself as a liberator of Europe from dynastic rule and feudalism, and as a modernizer for for the nation. And wherever he conquered, what he did, it is very important because it had a far reaching effect. And even after his rule was ended, many of these policies had been followed. Even now, we are following many of his policies. So that is a far reaching effect of Napoleon Bonaparte. He made changes like privatization, private property, protection of private property, unified currency, unified system of weight and measures, abolished regional levies and customs tariffs. So all these things were introduced by him. Now I'll explain in detail about this point in the next slide.